Good morning, YouTubers. Today's topic of discussion, if you like, is Sketchup. The subject of Sketchup is even today still relatively unknown among some people, and many who are aware of Sketchup don't appreciate its the level of no, that's not the right way to say it. Don't appreciate its capabilities. Okay, now it's limited in some respects, granted. Okay, the software has been developed now, or been in development for quite a significant period of time, however, and there's been added functionality added to it by the company developing SketchUp. I think it's currently owned by Trimble, but it's also been developed by the community. Now, I don't want to ramble on too long about this, but I feel that there's enough tutorials on the web regarding SketchUp, and I don't want to be repeating what content that's already available to everyone. This chat is more really to highlight or to bring to everyone's attention the power of this small application, because it is a small application. It's only maybe 100 megabytes in size, if that. I don't actually recall how much it takes to install. You can run it on very low power computers, and it's not got the same power as more professional applications such as Inventor Pro and made by Autodesk, or Maya and other 3D applications. You got SolidWorks. There's a CATIA. There's a whole raft of professional 3D applications, but a lot of them are for niche markets. While SketchUp is more it was touted as being a sort of to assist architects, but it's more flexible in that. It isn't just for designing kitchens or building homes. You can do mechanical constructs with it. You can do architectural constructs with it. You can even model terrain with it. Okay, you do sometimes require to use other third-party applications, but it's got the ability to import files from other applications. I'm not going to be able to cover everything that it can do in a 5-minute talk, but the simplicity of the interface perhaps gives a lot of people the wrong impression. I don't want to belittle it, because I think that's a good thing. It makes it easy to use. It makes it it's not so intimidating to a new user. I've used a variety of applications over the years. I'm quite familiar with AutoCAD. I started out in CAD design or CAD drafting using AutoCAD Release 12. Now that's going back to the 486 PCs. Yeah, that's even before your Pentium PCs. Yeah, there was no Windows installed. It was all DOS driven. You had to load it using DOS commands. Once you're in the interface, there was no icons to click upon. It was all command driven. There was, I think, some functionality for the mouse within the software, but it was generally easier to type the command in and press enter. Now, I followed the AutoCAD software suite, if you like, for quite a number of years, hoping to gain employment in that industry. But it was my realization, unfortunate realization, that a lot of companies were looking for highly specific skill sets. For instance, you'd get an advert for, say, a CAD drafter, CAD draftsman or CAD draftsperson, and then you'd look at the advert for the job and you'd find it required 5+ years of experience in a nuclear design for submersibles, or it would require 10+ years experience within a turbine design in the aerospace field. So they were looking for very, people with a background knowledge in the industry that they were working within. So that made any sort of attempt from somebody who didn't have that experience, well, it was just a waste of time even applying for the job, to be quite frank. And time is the most precious commodity that we have. It wasn't just 5 years or 10 years experience. They had a list of other requirements for the some of these jobs. So breaking into the CAD industry, if you want to call it a specific industry, is difficult. You've got to be in with a company first. You've got to know their product. You've got to be able to understand how their product works, understand what the problems with their product is, and then you can hopefully relay improvements or help to the design of a better product. Now, there's other things. Construction, for instance. It's not necessarily a complicated area to work within. There's a lot of things, a lot of jargon. You got H beams, you got C beams. There's all sorts of acronyms for different parts, and unless you're using that every day, it's very difficult to retain that knowledge. It's not that it's particularly complicated, but I don't want to say required almost, because I've got a feeling that if somebody's got a fairly good level of intelligence, they can see past all the bureaucracy, let's put it that way, okay, and all the jargon. Jargon is just a load of terms to convey new ideas or new products. There was a time that we didn't have the internet. The word internet didn't exist, and that's just another term or piece of jargon to describe a physical or non-physical entity. We're now aware of the internet. Everybody on the planet is using the internet, so it just become part of our vocabulary, like any other word. And I laugh when I listen to some of the Gaelic radio shows, and they're chatting away fluently in proper Gaelic, and then the next you'll hear the word internet, because Gaelic is an old language and they don't have, or Gaelic, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Gaelic or Gaelic? Anyway, that aside. So it's an old language, so it didn't have the word internet in it, so they've adopted the English translation, or the English pronunciation rather, for the word. So SketchUp. It's a great piece of software, folks. It's got a lot of potential in it. You should really investigate it a little bit further, I think. I think a lot of people discount it because it's got such a simplistic interface. Now, like the name suggests, it's for sketching out shapes, turning them into 3D models. That was the initial premise. The SketchUp people, Google bought SketchUp from some small startup firm, and then they sold it then to Trimble. So I can't remember the name of the firm that initially started SketchUp up, but the idea was simple, that you just draw out your shape, sketch it like you'd sketch an idea on the back of a napkin, yeah. And then this tool here, this is called the push-pull tool. This was one of their big selling points because I don't think any other software had done this previously. Now, in the past, well, excuse me, software had other software suites had used commands like extrude. Okay, now if you're in the aluminium business at all, you'll know that they extrude aluminium. You know, they extrude lots of materials and plastics into a form that they desire. So they'll come along with a billet of metal, it's heated, and then it's extruded into maybe wire or some other form. So altering a shape into a different shape or lifting it up was often called an extrusion, because it had similarities to that process I just mentioned. But people at SketchUp kept it simple for a new user. You know, took all the fear factor away from it, if you like, and that's one of the reasons it's become so popular. You know, people are intimidated by complexity. I personally enjoy complexity. Yeah, I like. It's not a feeling of power I get from it, but it's like a feeling of excitement when I've got a powerful piece of software to use. However, the push-pull tool. Okay, you simply select the plane. This is actually called a plane. Okay, no, it doesn't fly through the air. It's just a face, right? It's a face rather than a plane. It's on a plane, right? This green and red axis here representing the plane, right? The blue is obviously representing a different plane. Now, so you take your face and you just click and drag. You don't even need to hold the button, and then when you're finished you click again to release it. Now if you'll notice, down in the left hand corner, now I can't point to it at the moment because my push-pull icon is fixed to the, well, it's not fixed. I actually can point to a degree. There we go. This is the distance you're moving. Now the tilde mark represents an approximation, right? If you're wanting an exact value, you have to type it in. Now that's not actually that difficult to do. If I wanted to move that, say, 20 feet, yeah, I'd just, without clicking, I still haven't completed the action of the push-pull, I just simply type in, without having to click in the box down there, 8 feet, and then press enter. So that's 96 inches, and that's because there's no tilde there now, you know that's an exact distance or measurement. Now, you want to do a sketch, for instance, yes, but a lot of people don't want to do sketches. They want to produce technical diagrams or schematics or plans to relay what they need to be built, or a modification to a part of a plant or whatever, you know. So they need accuracy, yeah. SketchUp can do that, you know. It's not difficult. Over here we have the measure distances tool, yeah. Now that's got a twofold action, yeah. You can measure a distance. You know, I drew the base of this cube freehand. I didn't type in any values. I could have done. I could have made it a precise value, but I didn't. But we know that this value here is 80 and 9/64ths, 80 inches and 9/64ths of an inch, wide. But let's say I'm wanting to find a centre point on that. There's a centre point, 40 and 1/16. Yeah. Now if I want to specify a value, a distance in, let's say I want to go 20 inches in, I don't click on anything and I just type in 20 inches. And that will then leave this construction line here. So this is the second function of this measure tool. Yeah. So that's putting in what we can use as a construction line. Yeah. So now I know that there is 20 inches in from the left, and I can draw a line. Now down here, look, I've now got an intersection because that line is crossing this line. Now when I used other applications, you'd have to middle click mouse button, select intersection, specify the intersection point possibly. It's much more complex, but it's also much more powerful. This is almost as powerful, but it's a lot simpler. It means that your workflow's a lot quicker. But it's like every bit of software. If you use one bit of software, there's going to be a learning curve. Yeah. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. I know I'm 20 inches in. I want to go 20 inches up. Wait a minute. I don't think yeah, I'll do 20 inches up. Yeah. No, I'll make it 40 inches up. Right. And escape that now, but the line is finishing there. Now I can erase this construction line because I no longer need it. Then I can put in another construction line over here, 20 inches once more. Another line, 40 inches. Erase. Now I'm in the habit of using these icons, yeah, but I'm finding that the action of moving from the center of my screen here to the icons is costing me time. So I'm trying to increase my workflow by using the shortcut keys. I've got some of them. E is for erase. That's simple enough. I just press E and I've got the erase command. Yeah. Now there's the select tool. Press S for select and I get scale. Okay. So I'm still getting, well, it's been one of those things I've been meaning to research and print off and get up to speed on that, because I think the keyboard is a very useful tool. I've also got the 3D Navigator connection, or 3D connection navigator, and that's a handy little tool in some respects, because you can navigate your model, you can lift it and decrease it, you can rotate it, you can manipulate your object in all manner of ways, zoom in, zoom out, and that's all done with the 3D connection space navigator mouse. I can do that all with my middle mouse button, however, and zoom in, zoom out on my middle mouse button, click, rotate. It means a little bit more action with the mouse pad and the mouse. I've got to lift the mouse and use some faster movements, and it means more clicks and more turns of the wheel, but I can do the same thing with a standard 3-button mouse, which is like £5, while the 3D connection is 80 quid. But the feel of the 3D connection is much more tactile, much smoother. It's a pleasure to use it, folks. It's anyway. Enough about that. So a simple box with another simple square. Now I want to start again, really, and do something that would possibly inspire you, or do something complicated. But I was intending on keeping this video short, and what am I at now? I don't know, but it must be a good 10 minutes anyway. Back to the push-pull tool. excuse me, now there's a wee problem, look. I have selected a face on the cube, okay? How do I don't want to alter my model simply by one mistake like that. So to get out of that, I just press escape and it takes you back to the point before you selected that command. If you do complete a command that you didn't want to do, you've always got the undo function. Now, what happened there was I was wanting to push-pull this face in, but it's not a face yet because I never connected the bottom, okay? So I just need to draw in a line there, like that. And that should now be a face. But it's not. Okay. What am I doing? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here, folks. That should have created a face automatically, and it hasn't. And I don't understand why. Right, what I'll do is I'll come back to this point. Inches, 20 inches, 40 inches. I'm thinking I might have been slightly off the square in some respect. There we go. I must have. That can happen with SketchUp if you're not careful, and with me speaking and trying to explain things at the same time. You'll now find that we can actually move that face. Right, okay, I've got the outside one selected. If I select the inside one, I can then actually move that face with the push-pull tool. Okay. Now I'll try to recreate that issue there for you, so that you understand why it occurred. I'll erase all that for now. For the push-pull command to work in SketchUp as I have it currently, you have to make sure that everything is connected. Okay. I'll just do this freehand now, just to sort of demonstrate. Let's say I am drawing that square box again, right? Now you can see here that I've got a blue line currently because it's on the face, yeah, and that's inferencing from the blue axis here, yeah. So you know that that is perfectly vertical. If you're a little bit off, that line may or may not be on the face. You know, it looks like it's actually touching the white face of the cube there, but it could be going behind the cube, or it could be coming out in front of the cube in that sort of manner, yeah. So if I just click there now and then rotate the model, it looks like it's touching, but it might just be a little bit off, possibly. Let's try it from this side. That might not actually be touching. And if it's not touching, it can't enter the face, right? Now that there is, again, it's a red line now, it's inferencing from the red axis, and then again the blue. But if I went and did it that way, now I think in this instance it's actually adhered to the face. Yeah, so I can push pull that, you know. I'll undo that again. There we go. No, that's on the plane too, right. Sod's law, isn't it? When you're trying to demonstrate an error, it doesn't occur. So I'll not waste any more time with that now, folks, but I think most of you will understand the gist of what I was trying to convey there. What have I got here? I've got a box. It's not even a box, it's just a cube, a solid cube. However, I do encourage you to go out and have a look at websites such as 3D Warehouse. Search for SketchUp plugins, search for Ruby scripts. There's a host of additional commands which can be bolted into SketchUp for the user to make use of. Other software that's quite well known within the SketchUp community is the likes of V-Ray, for instance. Now, it's not the only rendering software by any means, but it's the only one that comes to mind right at this moment in time. It basically can apply high definition textures and particle effects such as sunlight and a cloud or dust, or sunbeam effects, all sorts of things, just to give your design a more realistic look. SketchUp comes with certain commands automatically. You can actually texture things or paint things, in that sort of fashion, but it's very simplistic. It's not a very high definition textures, but you can load in high definition textures if you wish, and then you can add things like hold on, see if I can find it. Where's it gone? Yeah, shadows, for instance. Yeah, and you can adjust the time of the year. So if it's an outdoor scene, that could be useful. You can alter the time of the day, and if you're doing an animation, where you're maybe filming an outdoor scene, you can move throughout your scene, and then you can pause at a specific spot but allow time to continue and watch the shadows of your scene move. So all that can be done. I'm not going to be able to teach you the whole of SketchUp in one video, folks. There's a lot there. Have a second look at it. It's not going to be able to beat some of the professional applications I've already mentioned, but for a lot of people, a lot of smaller businesses, a lot of people that are just interested in it, it's going to be very useful to you. And not only that, it's very fun to use. It's actually a joy to create within a 3D environment. It's like playing with modeling clay. It's just get that tactile feel of when you're kids building something. It's fantastic. It really is a fantastic little program. So until next time, I'll leave you for now, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.